So today's topic, my friends, is more about perimenopause, but it doesn't matter if you're in perimenopause or not. All stages in life, this information that I'm about to share with you can be life-changing for you. But I just wanted to share my perimenopausal journey with you and how I got rid of that hormonal bloat. And already in the title, you see that it's focused on the anti-inflammatory foods, cycle syncing, and stress management. It's so easy just to say these things, right? But in the end, I want to give you a little bit of an understanding of what I did during my perimenopause journey, and I'm excited to share this with you. So as many of you know, the perimenopause can bring a lot of challenges, right? It has a lot of changes that are involved to our bodies, our mind, and our emotional well-being. Let's just be honest, it's a roller coaster, right? It's a hormonal roller coaster. It's like you being back in puberty again. And this is so funny because I posted a video on Instagram the other day where I said perimenopause and menopause, it's like going through puberty. And there was this one woman who said, it's absolutely not like going through puberty. And I'm like, well, it's not like going through puberty, of course, because you already went through puberty, but the hormonal fluctuations that you are going through when you are in that stage are actually equivalent to a lot of the hormonal fluctuations we go through in puberty. It all comes down to one thing: hormonal fluctuations. So if there are hormonal fluctuations happening in our body, right, and we don't understand this process and why it's happening to us, a lot of changes can become a challenge, right? And a lot of these challenges can become the biggest of hurdles. And one of the things is that persistent bloating. It doesn't matter what you eat. Everything you put in your stomach, you're gonna bloat up like a whale. Do you recognize this? Do you know, connect to what I'm saying? Because I've been dealing with this for the past 4 years, that hormonal bloat, that persistent hormonal bloat, and it's been driving me crazy. And I'll tell you something, I've always lived a life where I've been maintaining what I thought was a healthy lifestyle, right? But I too found myself struggling with a lot of discomfort, and this affected not only my appearance, because it looks like I'm like constantly pregnant, right? But also my energy, my mood, and overall quality of life. Because when you have that bloat, it does affect your life. It affects your every single day. What you wear, how you feel, it's just a disaster. Let's be honest about that. So let me walk you through what I finally did to get rid of that hormonal bloat. And the fun thing is, like, I've been going through pictures now, what I looked like when I started my perimenopause journey, what I looked like when I was in the midst of crazy hormonal fluctuations and was at the doctor not getting any help whatsoever, just feeling like complete shit, pardon my language, but it was a very frustrating time for me. And then when I finally started to take matters into my own hands and I started to experiment, right? And then finally, now, a month ago, something happened. All of those changes that I was applying paid off. I was starting to see the changes and I'm like, oh, I'm just having a good week, you know? No, it's persistent. The changes are now persistent. But I also tell you this, that if I mess up, the bloat comes back. Yeah, that's how it is. So what are the key strategies that make a huge difference? All right, I already told you, anti-inflammatory foods, syncing with your menstrual cycle, and managing stress levels. So anti-inflammatory foods can actually heal you from the inside out. But what is the problem here? The problem here is that perimenopause, remember that it triggers a range of hormonal fluctuations. And this can cause inflammation. It can lead to symptoms like the bloating that I'm talking about today. It can lead to weight gain and fatigue. And I found myself, despite eating what I thought was a healthy diet, I was still inflamed and uncomfortable. So what is the solution? The first thing that I changed, I went on an anti-inflammatory food diet. I also stopped doing and eating like a man, and I will tell you later on what that means. Anti-inflammatory food is basically majority focused on incorporating real food into your life, eliminating processed food, eliminating sugar, and also gluten as much as possible. So picture this: leafy greens, berries, fatty fish, nuts and seeds. And if you're gonna eat gluten, then it's whole grains. So that is what I focused on. So I eliminated all of those processed foods and sugars majority, right? Instead, I focused on foods that are rich in antioxidants, omega-3 acids, and fiber, and all of that to help me reduce the inflammation. Now, the fun thing is, I also noticed that if I drink a cup of coffee in the morning before I eat something, I bloat up almost immediately after that cup of coffee. So therefore, I put one and one together and made it into two, haha. And I figure out that the caffeine is stressing my gut. So my rule, number one rule, protein before caffeine. Protein before caffeine. And that made such a huge difference. I made sure to eat a savory, protein-rich breakfast before I had my cup of coffee. And it made such a huge difference. So yeah, I cut back on the processed foods, refined sugars, trans fats, all of those, like basically fast food joints. No, just eliminated that from my life. And that contributed to more hormonal balance in my life. And it took some time, I'm not gonna lie, it took some time, but by nourishing my body with the right foods, I started to feel lighter, less bloated, and more energized. So it was basically like a fog lifted, and I began to feel more like myself again. All right, so that's the anti-inflammatory foods. The second thing is cycle syncing. Now, you're a woman, right? You're a woman watching this. You have a menstrual cycle, or you've had a menstrual cycle. Either way, I am still on my menstrual cycle. So I still have my bleeds, and they were becoming very heavy. They were becoming very long, like crazy long. So when I started to do a little bit more of, tweaking in my anti-inflammatory food diet, I also came across how it is to align your body with your natural rhythm. And I got really into it. And this was the time when I was actually studying to become a menopause coach. And I realized that majority of the women, including myself at that time, are not cycle syncing. And I saw these words, cycle syncing, on Instagram or Twitter popping up a little bit here and there, but I didn't pay a lot of attention to it, right? But this is a key insight that I gained, that our bodies have a natural rhythm, and we continuously keep working against them because we are conditioned to do so in modern society. And this makes our bodies fall out of balance. And especially when we go into perimenopause, it became my truth. I realized that, man, what I was doing to my body, constantly going against my natural rhythm, against my natural cycle, was also affecting my bloat. Yeah. So I discovered the cycle syncing, and I adjusted my lifestyle. I adjusted the way I was exercising according to my cycle. So according to the phases that I had in my cycle. This was a game changer for me, ladies, a game changer. I learned to give my body what it needed at each stages of my cycle. We need to remember something. Our cycle is about 28 days long. During that 28 days, you go through 4 phases. And I always joke about this, but you're always 4 women in one during 1 month's time. Yep. So I'll give you an example. During my menstrual phase, I focused on nutrient-dense foods, like, for example, iron, leafy greens, and I really boosted myself with vitamin C to support my body's detoxification process. In the follicular phase, I added more protein and healthy fats to boost my energy and hormone production. So what can we take away from this? Cycle syncing not only helped me reduce my bloating, but also it helped me with a huge thing. It improved my energy, my mood, and it helped me connect to my body. I know, that's amazing, that connection you have with your body. It was just mind-blowing. So it was me empowering myself to work with my body, not working against my body. And that made a huge difference. Okay, the last thing I'm gonna mention is stress management. And usually when I talk to my clients and I mention this, they always tell me, but I'm not stressed. I'm not stressed. I don't have stress. And I'm like, okay, so do you put everyone else's needs before your own? Yes. Do you make sure that everyone in your family is fed before you? Yes. Do you also have a full-time job? Yes. Or if you don't have a full-time job, are you basically the housekeeper, making sure that everything is working in the house, you know, organization skills and all of that? Yes. And I'm like, okay, so do you have problems with going to sleep, or are you waking up in the middle of the night? Yes. And I'm like, okay, do you juggle like 550 tasks at once? Yes. There you have it. You're stressed. Or you have stress in your life. All of these things are raising your cortisol level, and cortisol is the stress hormone. And when the cortisol levels are high, the bloat appears, because the bloat loves high cortisol. It loves high stress. But when we manage our stress, we also reduce the bloat. So that's the final piece of the puzzle, managing stress levels. And let's be honest, we've heard about this before. We know that stress can, wreak havoc on health, and especially during perimenopause. And yeah, like I said, the bloat just gets worse. So I made a conscious effort here to incorporate less stress, or rather stress-reducing practices in my daily routine. So number one, I made sure that I got my good night's rest. I removed stress factors from my life, which included energy drainers like people, believe it or not. I made sure that I was setting boundaries. I made sure that I put away everything that had to do with blue light, meaning your devices, before you go to sleep. Instead, focusing that 1 hour before I go to sleep to incorporate a good nighttime routine, like lying in bed, having my oil diffuser on or incense and reading a good book instead, right? So all of that was helping me to reduce those cortisol levels, which helped me sleep. But also it included regular exercise, mindfulness meditation, a lot of deep breathing, and the best of all of those aspects, walking in nature, spending time in nature, being in nature. So getting enough sleep, making time for activities, that brought me a lot of joy and relaxation, and it was also super essential. So when you address the stress, you realize that the stress is basically, I would say, the number one culprit in why you have that hormonal bloat. It is the stress that is keeping you from living your best life. When I removed the stress or the stress factors, my body also started to feel lighter, my mood was more stable, and I had more energy to tackle the day. So in the end, what did we gather? Did we understand from all of this? Well, if you want to get rid of your hormonal bloat, perimenopausal bloat, even the menopausal bloat, I'm going to be honest with you. It's not a quick fix. It's not a cream, it's not a patch, it's not HRT, hormone replace therapy, that is going to help you. It is you taking that long road to adjusting your lifestyle. It is jumping into having a holistic approach on your health. Anti-inflammatory foods, align your body with your natural cycle, manage your stress levels. When you understand that this is key, this is really key, no pill in the world is gonna help you through it. There are no quick fixes, my ladies, when it comes to perimenopause or menopause. There are none. You need to put in the work. And you know what? I know that you have it in you to want to do that for yourself. So it's time for you to take yourself seriously. This is your biggest act of self-care, of self-love. Explore strategies that will help you thrive in life. Just today I was going through one of the Facebook groups that has everything to do with, like women in menopause going through challenges, and they share in that Facebook group. And the number one problem that all of them end up posting is about weight gain and that hormonal bloat. There was this one case with a woman who went to her favorite restaurant, and she's like friends with the manager and the waitresses, and the manager basically asked her, "So when are you due?" And he really meant it, like he thought that she was pregnant. Yeah, that must have felt really bad. Really, really bad. And I know that a lot of women feel like that. Like, I'll give you another example. So I've been managing my lifestyle, my stress, my foods, my exercise also, and also cycle syncing, right? And the other day, my amazing partner, he said that he wanted to do like an ice cream, like a healthy version of ice cream with protein instead of dairy. And I'm like, okay, go for it. Do it, and, put some dark chocolate in there. It's going to be awesome, I think. And we ate it. And I swear, 10 minutes after, my stomach was like growing, bloating up. It hurt so bad. So imagine yourself having like a functioning gut, and all of a sudden your body is screaming. I was in so much pain, and I'm like, what the heck? What happened? You know, what was in that nice cream? And I asked him, what did you put in there? And he's like, yeah, but you know, the protein powder. And I'm like, I go to the cupboard, I open it up, and then I see it's not protein powder, it's a weight gainer. The first ingredient is maltodextrin, which is a refined type of sugar. And I'm like, oh my gosh, all my efforts. I had like the most crazy insulin spike, my sugar was going crazy, and my gut was screaming. I was in so much pain. And this is what happens when you've been on an anti-inflammatory food diet. Your body starts healing itself again. And when my body ate something that it hasn't been eating for a very long time, my body got a shock. It was like shock treatment, and it was not nice whatsoever. But I wanted to share this with you because for the past month, and this started to happen in July. In the month of July, I was walking a lot. I was traveling a lot, so I thought that I would be constantly bloated because I was traveling a lot between continents, between 3 continents. But somehow I managed to stay flat stomached. And I'm like, what am I doing right? And then I realized, like, I made sure to sleep properly. I was still moving a lot. I was walking a lot. And when I ate, I opted in for the good choices, even on the flights, right? Even on the flights, I focused on getting the protein. I focused on getting the veggies. I didn't eat the dessert, and I didn't eat the breads. I really focused on a good healthy choices for my foods. And in the end, my darling, when you realize that the tweak might be hard in the beginning, especially if you've been on a Western culture type of diet, you know, the American diet with a lot of refined sugars, a lot of carbs, a lot of trans fats, it might be hard. Because all of those food choices are so easy to get in our Western type of culture, right? You go to the supermarket, it's like the first thing that pops up. And you might say that, but eating anti-inflammatory food is so expensive to eat healthy. But imagine this, you having stomach issues, you having stress during perimenopause and menopause, you having these crazy symptoms during perimenopause and menopause, and then you go to the doctor, and then you get a lot of like medication prescribed, and then you end up after post-menopause with some type of chronic disease because you didn't manage your menopausal symptoms in the best possible way. And we women, I always mention this because it hits me. It hit me so hard the first time I heard it. Do you know that if you don't manage your hot flashes in menopause, you have a 60% higher risk of getting Alzheimer's? That hit me so hard. I'm like, woof. No. That's not gonna happen to me. So with that said, realizing that everything is connected to your gut health is number 1. Realizing that you need to sync your cycle to your natural path, that's number 2. And I'm gonna actually say that sure, the stress management is number 3, but it's actually the most important one of them all. So yeah, even though we know that perimenopause is a natural phase in your life, with the right tools and mindset, because it's all about mindset also, you can actually navigate through it with a lot of strength, with a lot of wisdom, and a renewed sense of self. People keep asking me like, oh, do you wish you were 20 again? Never. Ever. If I have the wisdom that I have acquired for all of my experiences in my life, 20 was not a good time. No matter that I had the energy of a 20-year-old. I did so many messed up things to my body at that time. No wonder I hit perimenopause so early. Remember that your body is very resilient, and your body has a capability of healing itself. We just need to give it a little bit of extra care and attention. You can thrive during this transition, but it's not going to happen through a quick fix. And now I would love to hear from you. Have you tried any of these strategies that I mentioned? Have they worked for you managing perimenopause or menopause? I would love to see you dropping a comment. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments as well. Let's keep this conversation going, because in the end, we're all in this together, and all women are going to go through that phase in life. So yeah, if you're ready to take control of those perimenopausal symptoms, if you're ready to reclaim your vitality, I encourage you right here, right now, to take small and sustainable changes. And if you feel a little bit overwhelmed with this information and you don't know where to start, I have a new challenge coming up. This is my goal, to have at least one challenge every single month. And this challenge is going to be really how to, yes, a how to live fully through menopause, to live properly through menopause, to survive menopause. But it's going to be that real go-to how to have a proper nutrition, how to work out properly according to your cycle, and also how to manage your stress. So all of that is going to be like a proper how-to guide. The challenge is 5 days. It's coming up in about 2 weeks. So if you want to sign up for it, it's completely for free, because this is my mission in life, to help women through this phase, to help women reconnect to themselves so they can thrive and live their best life. Want to do this so much, help so many women in feeling their best. And I know that you can do it, because I've seen it, I've felt it. So let's do it. Don't hesitate. If you want to join the challenge, if you want to learn more, if you want to get that how to, join. So the only thing that you need to comment is just comment challenge in the comments, and I'll send you an invitation and we'll take it from there. All right. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you found this helpful. I look forward to our next conversation next week. Remember, we go live in our Menopause Secrets Facebook community every single Wednesday with a new topic that can help us thrive in life. Sending you loads of kisses. Mwah! Mwah! Take care. Bye.